If I get any closer, you guys won't be able to see because it's so big. But this is the story of how Portsmouth started. We used to have what they call mound builders here in Portsmouth, and it's up in on Mound Street called Mound Park. That's where and we got another place, and I don't remember that other place. Serpent Mound. So it's way before they was eating government cheese. Way before they was eating government cheese. You see that? That's way before government cheese, y'all. That one looks like a storm. And then for some reason it goes from the 1920s to the what? Well, that's about right. When, yeah, 1803. Okay, I see. So that's 1803 is when this town was introduced. That's the government mansion. That's still off of 23. That building right there that you see, that red building, it's still off State Route 23. And it's a major highway that goes through Ohio. But they had to lift those boards up, look, to build their house with ropes. They don't have gas or electric machinery like we had. They cut that shit by hand. We're just all spoiled today. We're all spoiled today. We don't know what we got. But we got some people have it made compared to what people did back then. Sorry, what are the long walls for? They're to keep the water out of the off the streets, because right behind there is water. It's called the Ohio River. It's probably about about a football field downhill. But they tried to keep this from the water from coming up here on the street, and it's flooded before. I forget if it was in 1912, if I remember right, or it might. It was called the Great Flood of Portsmouth. It was called the Great Flood of Portsmouth, and I went to a grade school that was called Wilson, named after Woodrow Wilson, the president, and he but there's a sign, or there's a marker in there where the water came up in there, and it's like a mile, like maybe a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile away from here. That's how far the water came up when that flood happened. So that's Monument Portsmouth Soldiers. That's when they was fighting in the war in 1980s or 63. And there's all the churches. Damn, I wish I had a battery pack. This is a long ass wall. All the churches in town on the wall. The oldest one is 1853, 1850, 1842. That's pretty slick. They're repainting it, freshening it up. Looks really nice. I wish I knew the public. You know what? I think the public's allowed to be right here, if I'm not mistaken. Get my lighter out of my pocket. Yeah, this dude over there just shitting himself. This is an old folks' home over here. These are the buildings I'm at. These two right here. That's an old senior home. I'm gonna walk slowly, guys, but I'm gonna try to get home before this battery dies. Or maybe I don't think I'm gonna make it, but we'll see. I don't think we're gonna do what I want to do today. That's Mitchell Ace. It used to be called Shelby Shoes. And they, I remember for a brief minute, my mom worked there. And Dad didn't like that too much, so she quit. but they made shoelaces at the time. They quit making shoes. That place you just seen with that old folks home, that's where it starts. No, that's Gallia Street. Okay, never mind. I thought that was a different building. One of these days I'll come down here, because this is what I'm going to do for about a month. Just get out of the house and walk. So just to get out, man. This is where the old football team, Jim Thorpe. I don't know if you ever heard of him before, but he's Mitchell Ace Shoes started a company, and they started a football team. That was one of the first football teams ever established. And I'll show you a place, it's called the Stadium, where they played the first NFL game. So that's Roy Rogers. Remember that Esplanade I showed y'all? That's named after him. That's wild, isn't it? That's a nice picture.